Afternoon, good evening, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. I already botched that entrance up. Whatever. It is the DOUG here once again, and it's time for my week 8 predictions and recap and notes and shoutouts and all that good stuff. But before I get to that, I have a guest joining me this week. Now, last week it was my buddy Captain On, who's the host of The Last Call, which you will see in the description below for the newest episode. But joining me today is a good buddy of mine. He's a Giants fan. He probably celebrated way too hard this past Sunday when they beat the Rams in London. And it is, of course, my buddy Brandon, a.k.a. The Dark Knight.
How's it going, guys? Ladies and gentlemen.
I bet you're real happy that the Giants all won their game. I mean, much needed win they needed as well.
Yes, I will say this. I was a little disappointed in that first quarter. The second down, Larry Donnell caught it, and then he fumbled it, and then they ran it back for a touchdown. And I'm sorry to say, nothing against Larry Donnell, but he needs to go. After that, I mean, he hasn't been really putting numbers up anyways.
Ooh, will his other Giants fan base get mad at him? We'll find out in the comments later this week. Now, of course, just as a recap for last week, if you slept under a rock, which I don't blame you because last week was shit. The Packers defeated the Chicago Bears on Thursday night. Packers maybe looking good again, still suspect, but looking good. As we just said, the Giants beat the Rams, and we're going to get to those Rams in a little bit because, good Lord, what the hell is wrong with them? The Chiefs beat the Saints. The Titans, who were leading the game, blew the game in the fourth quarter, not only letting the Colts take the lead, but then fumbled the ball and gave the Colts the automatic win. Colts won on that one. Congratulations to Andrew Luck on proving me wrong. I'm happy you did that. Vikings, Sam Bradford's great return to Philadelphia. Well, it wasn't that great. There was, five turnovers within the first few minutes. Not a great game offensively for the start, but in the end, the Eagles' offense did fixed themselves and won the game, so Eagles did get the upset win. Bengals beat the Browns. Redskins, who were leading the entire game, pretty much, lost the game to the Lions in the last few seconds. Lions did win, which shocked everyone. The Raiders traveled from California to Florida and beat the Jaguars. Hopefully they were smart and stayed in Florida because they play Tampa Bay this week, so hopefully they were smart. The Bills lose to the Dolphins, surprisingly, so the Bills' winning streak ended. So you notice, though, a lot of the teams who had a winning streak going into Week 7 lost, so that's kind of funny. Almost all of them, anyway. The Ravens, who had an easy game, were given the New York Jets, lose to the Jets. And we're going to get to the Ravens later, because I can tell you, as my mom's a Ravens fan, she was pissed. But Jets won. The Buccaneers destroyed the 49ers, proving once again that the 49ers suck. Sorry, Mr. Goodrich. The Falcons lost to San Diego. Falcons defense once again showing that they are one of the worst. The Patriots beat the Steelers, who did not have Big Ben. So it's a win. A win's a win. The Seahawks and Cardinals ended in a tie. We'll get to that game, folks. Don't worry. And, of course, last night I did not win the game as I had the Texans. Broncos won. So for Week 7, I went 7-7-1. And for the year, I am 59-47-1. That tie is going to give me a nightmare. Now, let's talk about some of these games in greater detail. Let's start off with the Giants and Rams, because that was a pretty important game because it was in London. It's one of those overseas games. That game in the first half was not that good for the Giants, and you even said that it was not that good. The second half really turned it around, as we saw. But the one thing that's funny to me, and I'm sure you're going to point it out or you're just going to agree with me, the Rams quarterback who threw that game-losing interception in the end zone to the Giants. That was laughable. That's all you could do was laugh because how bad it was. But here's the thing, though, and everyone's blaming the quarterback, which I do agree, the quarterback gets some blame, but go back and look at that pass again. Where the fuck was the wide receiver?
Nowhere to be found, sadly.
He must have dozed off, or he took the left turn at Albuquerque when he should have took the right. And we're going to get to Rams more in a little bit when we get to the notes, because, oh boy, there's a lot of notes there. Another big important loss for somebody was the Vikings. They lost the first game to the Eagles. This game was sloppy at the beginning. No doubt on that. I think anybody who watched that game would agree. That game started out sloppy. I mean, Eagles were turning over. Sam Bradford have turned it over in the in the end zone area twice. It was just a bad game offensively starting out, but it did turn around pretty good for the Eagles though. So, which makes the Sunday night game even more of an importance, depending on who you're cheering for. Any comments on the Vikings or Eagles game?
No, but I do have a comment on this for whoever's a Seahawks. I'm sorry, Seahawks and Cardinals. What?
Yeah, that's the game we're getting to next.
I have no words.
I mean,
What the fuck?
now, I actually thought this was a good game defensively for the Seahawks and Cardinals, but offensively, it was bad. And I'm noticing a lot of people hated the Seahawks and Cardinals game. And I'm a firm believer of that because it wasn't a high-scoring affair. It was great defense. I guarantee you, if that game would have ended 30-30 in a tie, I don't think nearly as many people would have been pissed.
Yeah.
But because it ended...
They wanted that playoff picture.
Yeah, but because it ended 6-6, you know, everyone's going to have a fucking goddamn cow patty about it. If you hated that game, I'm sorry. I enjoyed that game. Yeah, it ended in a tie, which kind of pisses me off. But defensively, as a guy who loves defensive football and loves watching the defense play, that was a damn good defensive game. And I'm going to say this, and I know everyone's is making fun of the kickers. Randy Moss made fun of them last night on Monday Night Football, kicking two 25-yard field goals with dress shoes on, which is impressive. I got to give him that. You know, I feel sorry for them in the sense of what happened at one time. I think it can be expected to miss one time from that range. But in the same game, both kickers missed. You can't make that stuff up. That felt like somebody from Hollywood there was like a fucking string on the ball, you know. Somebody from Hollywood came up with that ending. But it did end in a tie. Kind of makes things a little interesting now in that division and even in the wild card races when we get to it late in the season. But other than that, this was just a bad week in football overall. Not a lot of good games in week 7. Just not. Agree or disagree with that?
No, I agree.
Agree. All right. Now let's get to the notes for this week, everyone. I'm sure everyone's wanting to know the notes for this week. Buzz, we're going to the Rams. Jeff Fisher has become the third coach to lose 160 games in NFL history. He is now 5 shy of Dan Reeves's for the most in NFL history. So the question I'm going to propose, it's not the question of the video. Do you think Jeff Fisher is going to hit that? Get over 165 losses? I mean, because remember, right now, I mean, he can hit that this year. And I say that because let's remember, the Rams, he's already said that he's going to stay with the starting quarterback who threw that bad interception this past week. He's still staying with him. So Rams, you need to figure out some shit because I'm saying this now. Jeff Fisher gets this record. Yeah, he'll go in the Hall of Fame for this record, but it's not the. But I don't think that's the reason you want to go in the Hall of Fame for being the most losingest head coach in NFL history. No, it is not. I still find it funny though. It was the Giants who gave him the 160th loss. That made me laugh. Also, going to Cleveland, a team that can't win at all. They are now on their 6th different quarterback this season. You know, earlier this year I made fun of them. You know, oh, they're starting another quarterback. Ha ha ha. The jersey's going to have another name on it. I can't even make fun of this anymore because, yes, I can. This is fucking hilarious that's happening to Cleveland. And know what it proves to me? And I said it on Captain Ron, once again giving him another shout out, Captain Ron, in the last call. That all you have to do to get to the World Series is apparently have some voodoo priestess come in and sacrifice your football team. Because remember, it's the Indians and Cubs, and the Browns have no wins, and Chicago Bears only have 1 win. That should tell you something right there, folks. I do feel sorry for them though, in the sense their head coach. A lot of people may be asking for his job, and I'm going to say this. I don't think anyone under these circumstances could coach this team to win if they're on the 6th starting quarterback. Maybe Bill Belichick. Maybe. But I even think he would be like, after one or six starting quarterback, fuck this. We're just going to run the Wildcat the whole season. Hell, they might make a trade for Jay Cutler. There's a scary thought. Yeah, I know, scary thought, folks. All right, teams with a bye this week. I'm sure you're going to be happy about this because this helps you in the injury department. If you have any of these players in your fantasy league and they're on this team, remember to go to your fantasy league and switch them out. The 3-4 Rams, the 3-4 Dolphins, the 4-3 Giants, the 3-4 Ravens, the 1-6, yes, that's right, the 1-6 49ers, and the 4-3 Steelers have a bye this week. So if you have any of those players, bench them this week and put the backups in. If you don't have them, don't worry about it, but if you do, go fix it. Go fix it after this. There's your warning for this week. If you don't do it, blame yourself because I gave you the fucking warning, right? Right. All right. Moving on to there is another game in London this week. Can you believe that? Back-to-back games in London. It is the 4-3 Redskins versus the 3-4 Bengals, which is at 9:30 in the UK. Now, we're not going to make this pick yet, but I just wanted to let everyone know who is a Bengals or Redskin fan. You're going to have to wake the fuck up at about 9 o'clock in the morning. So you may as well skip church this week, okay? If you're one of those two teams, skip church, or go in the night, or go Sunday night, or go Wednesday night. Skip fucking the opening, skip basketball on ESPN. Go to church. Particularly if you're a Redskin fan, because you need to pray right now, because your defense looks terrible. Moving on as well, the Dolphins running back Jay, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, had back-to-back 200-yard games. He joins Ricky Williams, Earl Campbell, and O.J. Simpson, who did it twice, to do this. That's a pretty good list to join. I mean, you're joining Ricky Williams, who's a pothead, Earl Campbell, who's a Hall of Famer, and O.J. Simpson, who killed people and is in the Hall of Fame. That's not a bad list to be on. 2 Hall of Famers. And this will tie into something later on when we get to it in the notes as well that involves a certain football player who retired. Adam Vinatieri, you know who he is, right? Colts kicker? Okay, that's right. You just watch Giants and that's it. Adam Vinatieri, the Colts kicker, passed former Colt kicker Mike Vanderjagt for the most consecutive field goals made in NFL history. I give that a congratulations because every team needs a good kicker. I'm sure the Giants need a kicker right now as well, but that's another story for another day. We'll get into it. But
Giants kickers, Josh Brown is officially gone, so
yeah, so everyone who was upset they didn't cut him or let him go, he's gone now. So shut up about it, would you? Staying in New York, Ryan Fitzpatrick, after getting benched for Week 7, comes back out and gets the start the rest of the game because Geno Smith got hurt. Whereas it turns out Fitzpatrick will now be the starter for the rest of the year again because Geno Smith tore his ACL. So I do feel sorry for Geno Smith because this was his chance to show that he can lead the team, and instead he gets injured. For Fitzpatrick, this is a chance to prove, and Fitzpatrick said this in the post-game interview, that the coach, the organization, everybody, they gave up on him, saying, we don't believe in you anymore, we're going to put Geno in. Now he's back in the starting lineup. I don't know how I would feel by that if I was Fitzpatrick, knowing that I'm playing for a team that doesn't trust me. For that matter, I'd have a hard time as well if I was the organization. You guys are putting a guy in you blatantly told you don't trust in Week 7, but now you have to. Could get interesting. Alright, and the question of the video, out of the following teams, who has the best shot at getting the first pick in the draft this year? Now, I picked the worst teams based on their record. The 0-7 Browns, the 1-6 49ers, the 1-6 Bears, the 1-5 Panthers. Yes, I put the Panthers in here. The 2-5 Jets or the 2-4 Jaguars. Now, Brandon, I've been yapping my yap for the last few minutes. Who do you have getting the first pick in the draft out of those teams, or do you think it's going to be somebody else? Going with the Browns, who are 0-7. Which is sad in itself. As much as I want to go for the 49ers here, because I've been riding them hard all year long. I've been making fun of them as much as I can. I got to go with Cleveland as well. You're starting on your 6th different quarterback. I'm not a firm believer of tanking in the NBA, but in the NFL, I can understand why teams tank, to get that great player. In this case, I don't think the Browns are tanking. I just think they're really that bad because of the quarterback situation. So Cleveland will probably get it. That's my pick. I would love to know your guys' pick in the comment section. Who do you have being getting the number 1 pick in the draft this year? And of course, yesterday, which was the last bit of news, Dolphins and ex-Texans running back Arian Foster retired on Monday. So if you did have him in fantasy, which if you did, why the fuck did you? He's done now. He does hold the Texans record for most rushing yards for a player, overall. So that's something. Are you shocked by Arian Foster retiring at the age of 30?
Nah, because the fact is, the Texans played terribly.
And the fact he didn't even go to Miami. Well, he was on the Dolphins, who just won, but remember, AJ took his place pretty much, and we saw what AJ just did, back-to-back 200-yard games, so I don't think he wanted to be a backup, because that's what Foster was going to be when he came back from injury, because apparently he was injured still, and he was going to be a backup, so it is what it is. Well, hey, backups have done pretty good things. Look at Brock. He has a Super Bowl ring as a backup quarterback, I wish I had a Super Bowl ring. Depends on I can understand that. Depends on the team. Alright, now time to the shoutouts. Of course, my shoutouts this week are to Tim G on YouTube, who comments on every video I do for my picks. My buddy Brad. Rockin' Reese, who I'm good friends with. I know he will be watching the Eagles game, as will I, for different reasons. Mr. Jones and Face Off, which you can catch every Tuesday afternoon. Andrew, a.k.a. the Ghost of Test. I'm sure he's happy the Steelers have a bye this week. David Goodrich, I know he's thanking God that the Niners have a bye this week after the way they've been fucking playing. He probably did the who. Oh, my team's off. I don't have to worry about hearing Doug bitch about my team. Justin Baker and High Class Wrestling as well. Shout out to them. A shout out to Ann. Also a shout out to Mario Gray and Cowboys Nation on Facebook. Also a shout out to Ron and The Last Call. You've been hearing their name a lot this week. Shout out to Travis Glenn, who just found out he will be a father. So there's your shout out for this week. Also a shout out to some friends from high school. Kendall, Amanda Johnson, Mr. Lomax, who are all Redskin fans. You know I was going to come to them. I can't wait to rip them a new one when we get to that game. And, of course, Becky Freeman, who's a Steelers fan as well, and is probably happy they're off. And, of course, Brandy, do you have any shout-outs to give?
Nah, I don't.
Not even to your fiancé?
Nah, the only thing I have a shout out to is Funky Larry Goodell.
Well, you make sure to tag him in the video when I put it up on Facebook so he can hear it. Alright, now, of course, we are now going to Week 8 in the predictions. There are only 13 games this week. And, of course, we start off with the Thursday night game. The Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Can the Jacksonville Jaguars find a way to stay alive in their division? Or can the Titans bounce back from a heartbreaking loss to the Colts and get back on the right track? Brandon, your thoughts?
I don't think they can, honestly. Jacksonville, won one game, but
they won 2 games.
another
Jacksonville's won 2.
well, that's how much I don't pay attention to Jacksonville. But, it depends who they're playing against.
They're playing against the Titans. I just said that.
Oh, right, you did say that. And what's the Titans record?
I think they got 3 or 4 wins. I'm not exactly sure.
Then I have to go with the Titans on that one, because if they got 3 or 4 wins, that's pretty good for the Titans, even though they're not that great of a team. But they have a not bad offensive defense.
I'm going with the Titans here. I think DeMarco Murray and the rest of that Titans offense bounces back at the way they played near the end of the Colts game. Jaguars, they're a young team, and I'm going to say this, and Blake Bortles, I don't see you being a starter too much longer because you're the reason you're costing your team games. Moving on to the Sunday fucking morning game. The Redskins versus the Bengals, 9:30 in the morning in jolly old London. Can the Bengals get a much-needed win? Because they need this win to stay alive, because with the Ravens and Steelers having a bye this week, this could help the Bengals, catch up. While the Redskins, they're like, if we lose this game, and depending on what happens with the Eagles and Cowboys, we're in trouble. Yes. I heard this on Face Off and I couldn't believe it. And I actually saw the video after that. Yeah, the Redskins coach, one of them, he had to go to the bathroom apparently, and he didn't want to leave the field, so he poured out a Gatorade bottle and pissed in the Gatorade bottle on the field. Now, I commend this coach, because I think it was the assistant coach, it wasn't the head coach. We have to make that point, it was the assistant coach. I want to applaud him for at least staying out there, and thank God he only had to pee. Could you imagine if he had to take a number 2? That would have been no, go to the damn locker room. We'll lose this game, but you're not shitting out here in front of millions. Yeah. And I'm sure she's selling it she's selling it online. Come look at this ugly thing. And then look at his dick. The ugly thing being the Redskins team. And the Redskins defense, my God, their defense got hurt last week. They lost their best player this past week. So I'm taking the Bengals here. I just feel that with the Redskins reeling and after the way they lost to the Lions, I just can't pick the Skins this week. So I got the Bengals. Remember, children, Brandon is a Giants fan, so we're just going to keep that in mind.
I'm also going to say this right now. I also hate the Dallas Cowboys. I call them the Dallas Cowgirls, but I actually need them to win as well. So.
Well, we'll get to that game later. That's later in the show. Moving on. Chiefs take on the Colts. Both teams got a W this past week. Here is the question I propose to you, Brandon, because I'm going to let you get this one first. Can Andy Reid and Alex Smith, who have been playing pretty well and their defense has been playing pretty good, stop Andrew Luck, and who's behind one of the worst offensive lines right now? Or can the Colts find some way to win this game and stay alive and compete with the Texans in their division? I mean, well, both teams have pretty much played the same. They both had their high and low points, but Colts have a bad offensive line. The running game's not really that good. Granted, the Chiefs ain't any better, but it's at least somewhat decent.
Who needs to win the most? That's what it comes down to.
That's what it comes to. Well, both of them, actually, because Chiefs need it because they're in third place. They're behind Denver and Oakland, and the Colts are behind the Texans right now, I believe, and I think they're behind the Titans. So both teams need this win.
The Titans are behind the Colts, and Jaguars behind the Titans.
Yeah, well, Jaguars are dead last. That I can tell you.
I think they might stay dead last.
But the real question is, who do you trust more, Andrew Luck or Alex Smith? That's the question here.
I mean, Andrew Luck's got a hell of an arm. I will say he's under pressure. I mean, he probably plays that under pressure anyway, so I think he's going to go with the Colts.
I'm taking the Colts, and this is the first game we disagree on. I am taking the Chiefs. While I am proud of Andrew Luck for proving me wrong and answering my card I gave to him last week, I am taking the Chiefs here. Their defense is just way better, and I trust at this point Alex Smith more because he's got more to work with and he can get protected better. That's just my opinion. Now, of course, like you said, Andrew Luck probably on paper is the better quarterback, but looking how they play this year, that Colts offensive line is not that impressive to me. Moving on. The Oakland Raiders traveled to Tampa Bay, and a buddy of mine told me an interesting fact. The Raiders have not lost a game on the road this year. They are undefeated when they're on the road. So, can the Raiders once again win on the road and win in Florida, beating two of the Florida teams? Or can Tampa Bay, coming off a bye, shock the world and get probably the upset win of the week? True, they're not as good as they're not like the old Oakland Raiders, but they are a damn good team. If you can go 4-0 on the road, that's impressive.
I mean, the Raiders have a good offense and defense, and they're finally putting some work into it.
But it sounds like there's a but coming. It sounds like you want to take Tampa Bay. That's true.
So, and Buccaneers were falling back, but then they finally caught up. So it's in between both those teams. But oh god, well, the way Tampa played last week, though.
No, Tampa was off.
Oh yes, that's right. Sorry, Tampa was off. That's right. Because they actually needed that break anyways. Because
Tampa did defeat the defending NFC champions, but the Panthers suck right now. So. Well, that says a lot.
The score was 34-17.
That's right, they beat the Buccaneers did beat 49ers, but
so I mean it's all gonna come down to who has a better offensive defense as well. That's another key fact there. I mean the Oakland Raiders played who last week? They played the Jaguars, which is, let's be honest, they suck anyways. So.
That is true.
But going up against the Buccaneers, they got a good defense. I don't know about their offense too well. So, this is a tough call, actually.
Do.
But I mean, if they've been 4-0 on the road, I'm gonna have to go with the Raiders.
Raiders. And I am also going with the Raiders for that exact reason. Raiders 4-0 on the road. I can't hate that. That's impressive. And they're probably going to win again because if they were smart, if they stayed in Florida, because they were in Florida this past week for the Jags, and they stayed in Florida for this week, they should win this game. But if they were dumb enough to go back to Oakland after beating Jacksonville just to fly back to Florida, they're going to lose. But I don't think they did that. Oakland wins this game. Moving on.
Well, before we do that, also I was just reading the Raiders also winning the Jaguars 16 points and forced 3 turnovers, mind you.
That they did.
Something
That defense is good in Oakland. Now to a game that originally didn't look that good, but now looks that good because of what happened on Sunday night. The Seahawks, after tying the Cardinals, travel to New Orleans. We know the Saints offensively are good because of Drew Brees, but everything else is mixed. Their defense is one of the worst in the NFC, as they give up a ton of points to the visiting teams or the teams they play against. Seattle, defensively, is the better team, but offensively they haven't been able to put up points since Russell Wilson hurt his ankle. So the question is, who do you trust more? Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints offense or the Seattle Seahawks defense? And I may as well say that. Which kicker do you trust if it comes down to a kicking game?
I mean, I would have to say this. It's happening, looking at the Saints and looking at the Seahawks, fact is, Drew Brees. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of respect for Drew Brees, but at the same time, when he's under pressure, oh man, he goes like down like a sack of potatoes.
Sounds like you wanted to take the Seahawks here.
Yeah, that's
Seahawks.
a nail biter, but I'm gonna have to.
I will be taking the Seahawks as well. I just trust their defense more. If it comes down to a kicking game, I'm going to close my eyes. Because I don't want to see... I don't think no one wants to see that again. Moving on, we head to the Texans. Houston's at home this week. They take on a Lions team who... Originally, a lot of people had questions about the Lions, like, can they win without Megatron? And right now, they're playing pretty well. So, can the Lions, after beating the Redskins with about 20 seconds left, give or take... beat a Texans team who just got demolished by the Denver Broncos?
Oh, and let's not forget, with bad luck on the side of the Texans and Broncos, a fan has died, so...
Did you have to bring that up?
Yes, I did.
You're an asshole. No one needed to hear that.
I'm sorry, but that's some bad luck right there, letting that happen.
But taking the bad luck out of it, who do you have, Texans or Lions?
Jeez, I mean, they don't have Megatron, so who do they replace Megatron with is the big question.
I think Golden Tate. I think. I don't really know because I don't know anybody on the. I don't know any of the Lions wide receivers. I'm sorry, guys.
I don't either.
They've been winning games with Matthew Stafford and Three's Company. I think that's what they are. It's Three's Company and Matthew Stafford.
I mean, the Texans did just come off a loss. So, you know what? I'm gonna go with the Lions here.
I'm going with the Lions as well. Seeing how the Texans played on Monday really upset me because, as many people know, that was my upset pick. I expected them at least to keep it close, but their offense just died in Denver. I don't want to say that now because of what you said, but that's what happened. The offense for the Texans literally died in that game. So the Lions should win this one. It's going to be a close game, I feel, because of how the Lions play. It seems like they're always coming back to win games. So, moving on, and what I am calling the Loser Bowl, because the loser of this game will get a good prize, and that is probably the first pick in the draft. The New York Jets take on the Cleveland Browns. Can Cleveland, with their sixth starting different quarterback, beat the Jets? That is the question here. I can tell by your laughter you say there's no way in hell.
Exactly.
So you...
The Jets, let's put it this way. Let's talk about last week, okay? We had the Jets versus Ravens game. How in the hell did the Ravens lose to the Jets? And let's put it on this way. The Ravens lost back-to-back as well.
That is true. They lost to both New York teams. So I'm taking a guess that you're taking the Jets because I can tell by that laughter you give no Browns a shot. And I'm sorry, I'm taking the Jets as well here. I think the city of Cleveland sacrificed the Browns so the Indians can make it to the World Series. They literally told the Browns organization, "Here's a voodoo priestess. We're going to sacrifice the team so we can win the World Series." Unfortunately, the Chicago Bears did the same thing. So we're going to see what breaks.
I will say this though, the Jets, I mean, put it this way, now you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, Geno Smith is out.
Yeah, that's the concern here.
I mean, I wonder how Ryan, don't get me wrong, he's played on multiple teams, if I'm correct.
He has. He's been a journeyman quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, though. I know we're making fun of this game. Cleveland technically can win this game because of how bad the Jets have been. So, we're making fun of Cleveland. Ha, ha, ha. They haven't won a game on the sixth starting quarterback. I will give Cleveland a chance. Not a big chance. Maybe like a 10% chance of winning. And that's only because of how the Jets have played this year. Other than that, I think the Jets win this game. Moving on. An interesting game we have here, Brandon. An interesting game. Packers and Falcons. I almost said Vikings. Packers and Falcons. Falcons offensively have been one of the best teams, but defensively, the suspect. But the Packers have also been suspect.
Well, here's another interesting note. The Falcons also signed Stephen Ridley. I think that's how you say his name is.
I don't know. I'm not looking at it.
As Taven Coleman insurance, I guess. 2 days after the Coleman suffered a hamstring.
Yeah, it's right, because he's out for a few weeks. That's correct.
Yeah, so basically they signed 2 more guys for their running backs. I don't know who they are, so that's Taven Coleman. And again, I don't really pay attention to Falcons.
No, you'll be paying attention to this game because, you know, you want one of these teams to lose to help the Giants.
The problem with this game right here, God, here's the saddest thing to say. I just looked at the Falcons and they lost to the Chargers, which is pretty fucking sad, sorry to say. And the Packers did beat us, which I'm kind of pissed about. I don't want to get into the whole shenanigans with, Aaron Rodgers and shit. But, the Falcons have a nasty, nasty offense and defense. But their O-line needs work. I don't know. The team needs work too.
So who are you picking, though?
Hawk got deleted. I'm gonna have to go with the Falcons.
Wow.
I hate that.
You're taking the Falcons. I am shocked. By the way, before I make my pick, congratulations to Mario Clark and his, I want to say fiance now because she said yes, so congratulations to both of you two. Just remember, Mario Clark, and this is why I'm going to make an ass of myself here. Remember, if you piss her off, she can take half your shit. Just ask Brandon. He's got a fiance. You know damn well if that ends in divorce, she's gonna be like, I'm taking all your Giants memorabilia. I try to be. Anyway, and I am picking the Packers on this one. The Falcons' defense is just too suspect for me to trust them. I can't trust them. I'm sorry, I don't trust Atlanta's defense. I trust Cleveland's defense more than Atlanta. And then Cleveland hasn't won a game. Let that sink in there. Okay? Moving on. And what would be the best 1 o'clock game of the week? The Patriots take on the Bills. Now, the Bills are all coming off of a loss. Tom Brady's been looking real good. But let's take a look at who Tom Brady's beat. The Browns, who suck. The Bengals, who look average. And the Steelers, who did not have Big Ben. The Bills did beat the Patriots last time they met, but Patriots did not have Tom Brady. So the question's this. In Tom Brady's first real test back with a defense and a team that looks pretty good that could be a wild card team as well, can the Patriots stop the Bills, or will history repeat itself and the Bills get back-to-back wins over the Patriots in a season?
I mean, I've seen that game, and I tell you, that game was a nail-biter too.
I remember that game. I was nail-biting and shocked.
Let's put it this way, don't get me wrong, the Bills played a little sloppy, but I mean, they got themselves back on the board, so I mean, that offense again, that offense is questionable because, Tom Brady is out for revenge.
Yeah, that is.
That Steelers game, that was very scary.
I agree.
I don't know. This one's a tough one. I mean, yeah, the Bills beat them the first time without Tom Brady, but then again, I don't know if the Bills are really scared of Tom Brady. That's the funny thing. Then again, who the hell would be? But I think, if my calculation is correct, I think the Bills can beat them again.
So you're taking the Bills?
Yes.
Wow, there's the upset pick of the week from Brandon, folks. Brandon's taking the Bills. I'm taking the Patriots.
Oh my days.
You know what? I just said, Brady's only played against not good teams. Brady's angry, and apparently when he gets angry, he plays like he's mentally insane and psychotic. The Bills' only chance here is if Tom Brady's wife deflates his balls. That's the only chance, because he won't be angry. That might be why he's angry. He hasn't had sex in a while. Maybe Tom Brady needs to get laid, then he'll be less angry and he'll be more calm. But I'm taking the Patriots here. Moving on, a rematch. Now we just had this game a few weeks ago. The San Diego Chargers versus Denver. Remember, San Diego did beat Denver in the last game. So can Denver get the payback, or can San Diego make it 2-0?
San Diego, is on a winning streak, and Broncos are not really feeling so hot.
The Broncos did just win.
That is true. They did just win, but again, how long is that win gonna last, though? That's the big question. That's a choice that's hard to make.
By the way, I need to point out, because you brought it up I think you said it earlier, but you may have not said the name right. The Broncos and Patriots in a trade that involved A.J. Derby. I believe he went to the Broncos.
Yes, that's who that was, yes. I guess they needed him. I'm not sure, but hey, props to you. Let's see. The Broncos here. Let's see. They did beat the Texans. To be honest, the Texans aren't that great of a team. Again, they're not a bad team. They're not a great team. They're an okay team. And then the Chargers, I don't know about them either. Phillips Rivers, not the greatest quarterback. You know what? As much as, yes, I was when Peyton Manning was on the Broncos. Yes, I love them. I'm going to go with the Broncos here.
I'm going with the Broncos as well. I think Broncos want payback for the loss they lost. They want payback and vengeance. And remember, I believe when they played the Chargers last time, I think the quarterback they have from Northwestern, he wasn't 100%. He is now. So Broncos for the win. Now moving on, in a game that I did not originally it's great on paper. Looks like 5 stars. Oh, this is going to be a great game. They should move it to the Sunday night game. Fuck the Eagles and Cowboys. Hold your roll, because these two teams do not look like they were last year. You have the Cardinals who have a tie. They tied last week. That still pisses me off to that degree. Versus the defending one-win team of the Panthers. Who do you take in this? A team who has a great defense, an average offense, but their kicker missed an easy fucking kick. That's the best way I can explain it. Versus a team who apparently should have re-signed the player who went to Washington, because without him, they suck. So can Cam Newton act like an MVP this week, or should the Panthers just pack it in and say, well, we got hit by the Super Bowl losing curse? Your thoughts?
They got, let's see what the Cardinals have. They got pretty much a lot of key players.
They got Larry Fitzgerald. They got Carson Palmer. They got a good running game. Their defense is looking great. Excluding Cam Newton and Greg Olsen, who the fuck is on North Carolina's offense? Um,
Carolina.
I think I have a thing. I think I know where we're both going here. We're both taking the Cardinals, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both taking the Cardinals. I think we try to make this game hyped up, but I'm going to be honest. I'm looking at this game as much as I want to say the Jets and Browns would be the worst game. No, I think it's going to be the Cardinals and Panthers. Sorry, that's what.
By the way, if Carolina didn't, if people didn't know about this, Cam Newton has finally got rid of the fucking dab thing. Fucking works for that shit.
Yeah, he got rid of it because he ain't fucking winning. I'm sorry. I'm just going to call it like it is. He got rid of it because he can't win a game anymore. Moving on to the Sunday night game, Eagles and Cowboys. This is a divisional battle. If Eagles win this, they have a great lead in the division, if I believe. If Dallas wins, they hold on to first place in that division. What's funny here is if you look at this division, Eagles, Cowboys, Redskins, and Giants, it's looking like because of how the NFC is the rest of the way, that 3 teams can make it out of this division and go into the playoffs. So there is a great chance whoever does not win this division but gets second and third make the playoffs. Now, we already know I'm taking the Cowboys here. Anybody who's watched this channel knows that's my team. I'm not picking against them, so fuck you. Brandon, you are a Giants fan, though, on the other hand. Who are you taking? You know either way you kind of do get to move up depending what happens, but you also need the Skins to lose as well. But who do you rather trust? Because you did beat Dallas already. So psychologically, I would believe you would take Dallas because you would actually be able to pass them in tiebreakers if you beat them again.
True. But then again, you gotta realize the Eagles just defeated a team that was undefeated. They're supposed to have the best defense.
Well, their defense did play good for the first half, and then they just said, fuck it, we'll play better next week.
Yeah, and you know that's not a good thing to see, especially putting that on the Eagles card because that's just adding fuel to the fire. If they beat an undefeated team, I mean they're coming in hot. So, but then again, so were the Dallas Cowgirls. Sorry to say that. Sorry to say, Dallas Cowgirls, but this.
Well, you are right that they are hot. I'm not going to say the other name, but they are hot as Dallas has not lost since losing to your Giants.
And, I just read that Ezekiel Elliott made 700 yards in a rushing game. So, I mean, that rookie's on fire, too. I won't doubt that boy for a second.
It is a battle of the rookies. Tony Romo would not be starting. Thank Jesus Christ. Because if Tony was starting, I would be hiding my head come Sunday night. I'd actually watch Hell in a Cell.
But then again, what do the Eagles got? I mean, besides that nasty quarterback.
Their defense is pretty good. I mean, and the offense ain't bad. But I'm going to be honest, I can't name any other player on their team besides the quarterback.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know anybody else either. I know some people from Dallas, of course. But then again, you also have a guy who's going to be going into the Hall of Fame probably this year or next year.
Jason.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Again, I hate saying this, but I'm going with the Dallas Cowgirls because the fact is, yes, they will be first in our division, but that also brings it to the Giants because the fact is the Giants also play them too.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in our bye week right now, so I mean that gives us a chance to beat the Eagles, even though the Eagles are going to come back for revenge if they lose this game as well.
Alright, so you're taking the Cowboys. We know I'm taking the Cowboys. Moving on, the Monday night game, which, how can I say this? Last night, Monday night game, I watched. And I flipped between that and poker. Didn't watch Raw, didn't care for it. Unfortunately, Monday night's game, I may actually have to watch Monday Night Raw, because the Monday Night Football game looks like it's going to be shit. It is the Vikings. Which you think, oh, that's a good team. Who are they playing? They're playing the Chicago Bears. And everyone's going, fuck this game. By the way, Chicago may be starting Jay Cutler. Can we say it with me, everybody? The Vikings are going to win. Say it with me, everybody. The Vikings are going to win. Brandon, I don't hear you. The Vikings are going to win.
I mean, Jake, you can't cut that. I mean, you can't, cut Jake Cutler like that.
You can't even say it with a straight face. I can tell in your voice you did not say that with a straight face.
I mean, he's not a bad quarterback.
I'm sorry. I gotta agree with Stephen A. Smith. Jake Cutler is terrible. He took that money the Chicago Bears gave him and he did nothing with it. He sat on his ass and did nothing. Johnny Manziel might have been a better quarterback. Johnny Manziel might have been a better option actually than Jake Cutler. At least. I'm taking the Vikings. I'm sorry. I don't trust Jake Cutler, and if he's not the starter, that should tell you how bad he is, because he hasn't started since the injury. Now that Brian Hall, the one who took over for him, is injured, you're either starting Jake Cutler or the third-string quarterback. And a lot of people think it might be the third-string quarterback. So you mean to tell me it's either Jake Cutler coming off injury or a third-string quarterback against the Vikings defense? Who the fuck is taking Chicago unless you're a Chicago fan? I mean, like I said earlier, the Chicago Cubs sacrificed the Bears so they could get to the World Series. That's why they suck.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to go with the Bears.
Are you fucking nuts?
Listen, the Eagles beat the Vikings.
Yeah, but at least the Eagles have a quarterback.
Okay, well, I mean, if Jake Cutler plays, then, that's...
But Jake Cutler hasn't played good since... Give me a minute. When was CM Punk WWE champion again?
Good Lord.
When did it, last time Jay Cutler was good was when everybody liked Roman Reigns. The last time Jay Cutler was good was when everybody was a John Cena fan. That's how long it's been since Jay Cutler's actually been of any use to anybody. As a matter of fact, here's how bad Jay Cutler is. I'm in 5 fantasy leagues. Nobody drafted Jay Cutler. Nobody. I'm sorry. If you're taking the Bears, I give you credit for going gutsy on some of these picks, because I know I did not. But, you are batshit fucking crazy if you think the Bears are going to win. I'm going to make this bet right now. If the Bears win, I will be on here next week singing a goddamn song of my choosing. I will sing a song for a little bit if the Bears win. And then I'm going to rip the Minnesota Vikings a new one. Because they should not lose to Jay Cutler. I'm sorry. No, fuck no. I'm sorry. If you had to tell me, Doug, you had to pick between the Browns or the Bears winning and you had no choice, I would have more faith in the Browns beating the Jets than the Bears beating the Vikings. I gave the Browns a 10% chance. I give the Bears a 0.0000 chance. As a matter of fact, if they win, that means the fucking Cubs will lose because the sacrifice didn't work. If the Bears win, Sam Bradford and the rest of the Vikings need to forfeit their season. I'm sorry. I know. I don't know if you're going to share this with our buddy Outlaw, who's a Vikings fan, but even he would probably say if we lose to the Bears, he'd be like, "We're done. Game over. I quit." So yeah. Just as a recap of my picks before we go. I got the Titans, Bengals, Chiefs, Raiders, Seahawks, Lions, Jets, Packers, Patriots, Broncos, Cardinals, Cowboys, and the Vikings. Cause sing it with me now. The Bears have no chances. They're not the Chicago fucking Cubs. The last time Jay Cutler was good was when Michael Jordan still played. I mean, I can't believe you're taking Chicago. I think you broke the machine in my mind. Congratulations. Anyway, that's my picks for this week. Let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree? Do you think Brandon's fucking crazy for picking the Bears? I want to see how many people agree with you. I want to see how many people agree with you with this. Because if you're the only one who picks the Bears and you win, I will literally die of laughter. So, pay attention to the news reports next Monday night. Anyway, those are my Week 8 picks. I thank you for watching. Please remember to comment your picks. And don't forget the question of the video. Who do you have getting the first pick in the NFL draft this year out of the teams who are losing? And of course, that's by my buddy Brandon. You got anything to say before we go?
Yeah, again, fuck Larry Donnell.
Yeah, fuck Larry Donnell. Alright, until next time, this is the DOUG signing off. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for week number 9. And you're really picking Chicago. What the fuck is your problem?